Namaste student. Today we are going to study Science and Technology Part 2. Chapter number 6, Classification of Plant. Presented by Sri Bryophyte from Sri Shambhu Madhyamik Vidyalaya, Jategaon. So to study classification of plant, student, first we revise how does living organisms are classified. In 8th class, we had already studied it. Living organisms are classified basically in two types: prokaryotic living organism and eukaryotic living organism. Prokaryotic living organism means an organism in which cell does not possess distinct nucleus are known as prokaryotic, while the living organism in which cell possess distinct nucleus are known as eukaryotic living organism. Then prokaryotic organisms are included in kingdom Monera. All unicellular prokaryotic organisms are involved in this kingdom Monera. While eukaryotic living organism further divided into two groups: unicellular organism and multicellular organism. Unicellular organisms are included in a kingdom second Protista, while multicellular organism further divided into two groups, that is multicellular organism with cell wall and multicellular organism without cell wall. The multicellular organism with cell wall are further divided into two groups: autotrophic multicellular living organism with cell wall are known as plants, while multicellular living organism with cell wall but heterotrophic, that are fungi. Lastly, the multicellular living organism without cell wall are animals. All animals included to this kingdom Animalia. So this is about the classification of living organisms. In the chapter, we only study the classification of plant. Robert Whittaker in 1969 proposed 5-kingdom system of classification for the study of living organism. We know that 5 kingdom of living organism: Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and Animalia. Then before Robert Whittaker, in 1883, a botanist, Escher, classified the kingdom Plantae into two subkingdoms as cryptogams and phenologams. Cryptogams means the plant without leaf, stem, flower, and phenologams are the plants with leaf, stem, roots, flower, as shown in these pictures. So Escher classified kingdom Plantae into these two subkingdoms, cryptogam and phenologam. First we study about cryptogams. Before that, first we try to know about basis of classification. Classification of plant is based on different criteria. Different characteristics are considered for plant classification. First criteria is the presence of or absence of organs or parts of plant is the first criteria for classification of plant. different vegetative parts like leaves, stem, root, flowers are present in that plant included in the subkingdom Phanerogams. While the plants without vegetative parts like stem, leaves, roots, leaves are cryptogams. Example, in this algae, Cara, we does not see any vegetative part like stem, leaf, roots. Phanerogam, in this mustard plant, flower, roots, stem, leaves, all vegetative parts are visible. So this is the phanerogam plant. Second criteria, the presence or absence of separate conductive tissue, that means vascular tissue for conduction of water and food. A plant with vascular tissue are called as vascular plant, while without vascular tissue, conducting tissue are non-vascular plant. Then we see the third criteria. The plant bears seeds or not. If they do, then whether the seeds are enclosed in a fruit or not is also an important criteria for classification. If the seeds are enclosed in the fruit, they are called as Angiosperm, and the plants in which seeds are open, that means not enclosed in the fruit, are called as Gymnosperm. From these, from this criteria, plants are classified as Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. And finally, plants are grouped in two groups depending upon the number of cotyledons present in the seed. Cotyledons means the parts of the seed. If we break seeds of tamarind, seeds of gram, then we get same two equal parts. That means that seed consists two cotyledons. If you break seeds of jawar, bajra, maize, then that seed can divided into equal parts. That means it consists only one single cotyledon. On the basis of number of cotyledons, plants are classified as monocot and dicot. First, we see the subkingdom cryptogams. Cryptogam kingdom is divided into three divisions. First division is Phthalophyta. The pictures of the plant as shown in this diagram, algae, Cara, Ulva, Spirogyra, all belong to this division Phthalophyta. Thallus means body without any vegetative part, that means plant parts, leaves, stem, roots are not present in this plant, so they are included in division Phthalophyta. These plants do not have parts like root, stem, leaves, flowers. All these plants are unicellular or multicellular. Autotrophic due to presence of chlorophyll. All these plants are autotrophic because they contain chlorophyll, and with the help of chlorophyll they prepare their own food, and they are autotrophic. Soft body feature is soft and fiber like body. You know, a shell in fresh water, you see it is a very soft and fibrous body is seen in this algae like this, also in the Spirogyra. Also, the division Phthalophyta includes fungi like yeast and molds. We see the molds on the bread, or bhakri, that molds also included in this Phthalophyta. But these fungi like yeast and molds are heterotrophic. Remember this. That means they are does not prepare their own food, as they does not contain chlorophyll. Then second division of cryptogams, that is Bryophyte. These plants are thalloid. That means they also does not contains any plant parts like leaves, stem, roots, etc. Multicellular plant. All these plants are multicellular and autotrophic. That means photosynthetic, prepare their own food. Second characteristic, they reproduce by spore formation. Spores are formed in sporangium like this, as shown here. When this sporangium get mature, spores are released into the air, and when they are germinated in favorable condition, they produce a new plant. So they reproduce asexually by spore formation. Then third characteristic, they have stem-like or leaf-like parts and root-like rhizoids, as shown in this diagram. Rhizoids are seen here, but these are not true roots. Also, leaf-like parts are there in this plant also, but these are not true leaves. Also, they are non-vascular. This plant does not contain any conducting tissues like xylem or phloem, and they are non-vascular. These plants is called as the amphibians. In exam, a reason will be asked why the Bryophyta plants are called as amphibians. As because of their habitat, these plants are grow in wet, damp places. Example, on wet walls of the house, they are seen a plant funaria, moss. As they grow in moist soil and moist moist wood, they are called as amphibians. These plants also need water for reproduction. Then another example of these division Bryophyta are moss, funaria, mercantia. This is the moss, funaria, mercantia, and rixia. Also another example, Anthocyrus. Remember these. Then last division of the cryptogams, that is Pteridophyta. Plant from this group have root, stem and leaves, but they are without flowers, so they are included in cryptogams. Also, these plants are vascular. Remember this. Vascular means this plant consists a special conducting tissues for the conduction of water and food, but they are without flowers and fruits, so they included in the subkingdom cryptogam. They reproduce with the help of spores. Example, fern like Nephrolophis, Marsilia, Teres, Adantum, Equistem, and Selaginella, and Lycopodium are the different examples of these division Pteridophyta. Look this picture. Fern Nephrolophis is shown in this picture. Roots are there, stem and leaves are there. Only flowers are not present in these plants. They reproduce by spores. Sporangiums are formed on the lower side of the leaf. When these spores are mature, they spread through the air and get germinated into a favorable condition to produce a new plant like this. Also another example, Lycopodium. Also in this plant there are root, stem, leaves, all the vegetative part. Only flowers are not present in this plant. Then subkingdom Phanerogams. Phanerogams means the plants that bears flowers, fruits, seeds are called as phanerogams. Depending upon whether seeds are enclosed in a fruit or not, phanerogams are classified into two groups, two division, that is Gymnosperm, as this plant is shown here. In also our school garden there is, you see such plant. Then second division of this subkingdom, that is Angiosperm. All the plant uh, in our farm, also around us, different plants are there, belong to this division, Angiosperm. First we study about the division Gymnosperm. All these plants are evergreen, perennial and woody. Evergreen means they are green throughout the year. Perennial plants. Perennial means they live for many years. Hence they are termed as perennial. And woody plants, stem like woody, as shown here. Hence they are termed as woody plant. Another feature of this plant, they bear male and female flower on different sporophylls of the same plant, as shown here. This Gymnosperm plant consists male and female flower on different sporophyll. Sporophyll is a special modified leaf which develops male and female part of the flower. That is called as sporophyll. Then another feature of this plant, these plants do not form fruits and are therefore called as gymnosperm. Seeds are without covering of fruit. Gymnos means without covering and sperm means seeds. Seeds without covering, any covering like fruit. So they are termed as called as gymnosperm. Example of these plants are cycas, as shown in this picture. This is the cycas tree. Thuja means morepankhi. Also this plant is you have seen in garden. Then pinus, that means devdar tree. Then lastly, division angiosperm. All these plants develop flower and seeds are produced inside the fruits. That means they consist fruit covering on the seeds, and they are called as angiosperm. Angio means covering and sperm means seeds. Seeds are enclosed in the fruits and they are known as angiosperm. The flowers are their reproductive organ. Sexually reproduction takes place through the flowers. Flowers develop into the fruits and seeds are formed within fruits. Thus these seeds are covered, hence they are called as angiosperms. As shown here, these plants have developed flower. Also in this plant of maize, like our sugarcane, flowers are there. Then angiosperm plants are divided in two classes, two groups, dicotyledon and monocotyledon, on the basis of cotyledon present in the seed. We see the difference in between these two groups of plants, dicot and monocot plant. Look again. Dicotyledonous plants, monocotyledonous plants. Seed contains two cotyledon. This contains single cotyledon. well-developed primary root, fibrous root, reticulate venation and parallel venation. You see in this leaf strong hard stem, while in monocot plant stem is hollow, false, disc-like. Hollow stem in maize, bamboo, then also jawar, bajra. You see that false stem in disc-like stem in onion, and false stem in banana trees. Then flowers in dicot plant, flowers consist 4 or 5 parts, or in the multiple of 4 or 5. As shown here, there are 5 petals, while monocot flower consists 3 parts, or in the multiple of 3. As shown in this picture, there are 6 petals are there in this flower. Lastly, we see again the classification of kingdom Plantae. As kingdom Plantae is divided into subkingdom as cryptogams and phanerogams. Cryptogams plants are divided into 3 divisions: Phthalophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. While phanerogam plants divided into Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. Example of Gymnosperm: Cycas, Fuchsia, Thuja, Pinus. And Angiosperm plants further divided into 2 groups: Monocotyledon and Dicotyledon. So thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, then subscribe it to see the next video. Again, thank you.